As a vegetarian, I'm already feeling uneasy. Are we noticing a theme here? And it's a horror story if I ever did read one. And to that I would say, have you looked around? It's a book that I actually had to stop reading at night because it was scaring me so much. I wouldn't be surprised if it starts happening. Dark, it's gross. Particularly a flawed one. Weird, unsettling, creepy. Hi everyone, welcome back to another video. I'm Ray, What Ray Reads. Follow me on Instagram and follow me on TikTok. So it's been a little while since I've actually filmed a sit down video because your girl went to see Lady Gaga and she got COVID. So I've basically been getting over that for over a week. You may also notice I had my hair cut. So that's what I've been up to. What have you been up to? Today I thought we'd do a good old fashioned reading list, and this is a list of weird, unsettling, creepy, scary books since we're in spooky season. So here's a list of weird and rather unsettling books. Now, these are the type of books that I personally think made me feel unnerved. They had a sense of the uncanny. They had me on the edge of my seat. They also maybe made me scared to go asleep. So without further ado, let's get into the books. The first book is Death in Her Hands by Ottessa Moshfegh. This is probably one of my favourite of Ottessa Moshfegh, and I know that's not the general consensus, but that's my opinion. This really unsettled me, it creeped me out, and it was very mysterious as well. It's full of atmosphere and confusion. We follow an older woman who's a widow, and she's on her daily walk through the woods with her dog one day when she stumbles upon a mysterious note alerting her to someone being possibly murdered.
I'm scared.
What follows is her own unravelling and investigation. She becomes absorbed in the mystery and becomes a bit of a detective, if you will. And the lines between reality and what she has in her head blur, and we start to question if her mind's sound, if what she's imagining is the reality. I found this very dark and moody. It was the perfect sort of wintry autumnal read. It made you want to sort of get cosy and go on this journey with her. And we've definitely got an unreliable narrator on our hands, but for me that adds more to the mystery, and you may not get every answer that you want, and you may be left with more questions at the end, but that for me just makes the mystery much more engaging and realistic.
What the fuck is going on in here on this day?
If you're a fan of Ottessa Moshfegh, I reckon you will probably enjoy this book. And as you know, I love an older female protagonist, particularly a flawed one, and we've got that with us right here. The next book is Invisible Monsters by Phalanuck. Hopefully I pronounced that right. This is one from my TBR. It was gifted to me by my friend as he read it and absolutely loved it, and he wanted me to read it. I still haven't.
Surprise, surprise.
This follows the story of a former model who's in a horrific accident and becomes disfigured and is no longer able to model. She becomes a bit reclusive and doesn't want to leave the hospital, doesn't want to go outside. And one day in the hospital, she's befriended by a transgender woman who helps her find her confidence and reinvent herself. This book's said to blend elements of body horror and society's perception of beauty in the modern world. I have seen online that people said this is really unhinged and quite dark and gruesome, but this is the author of Fight Club, so what are we expecting, girls? I really enjoy reading books as well that have sort of a hook of society's perception and expectations of beauty and conformity. So I think this will probably touch on those themes. So if you've read this one, let me know what you think, because I'm very intrigued and want to read it myself. The next book is Tender as the Flesh by Augustina Bazterrica. This is a dark dystopian story about the rise of people eating human and becoming cannibals after a virus infects animals and animal meats, meaning humans can no longer eat animal products. As a vegetarian, I'm already feeling uneasy.
Back I think I'm gonna vomit!
But I do really want to read this one because I've been told it's unhinged, it's dark, it's gross, it's very unique and unusual. And so many people have recommended this book to me, which is why I'm recommending it to you and we can read it together. Although my sister did start reading it, she got it from the library and she had to DNF it because she said it was kind of grossing her out too much. That makes me want to read it even more.
Okay, work.
I'm sorry, Rebecca. From what I gather as well, this book's using the cannibalism theme as a critique of society's attitudes and apathy and casual cruelty towards animals and people, and how people sort of okay it or give people a free pass to be cruel if it's sort of considered societally acceptable, especially if governments say, oh yeah, that's okay. Especially with the capitalistic system and, you know, profit over people. This is something that in today's world, I wouldn't be surprised if it starts happening.
She's got a point.
And it's definitely one I want to read before the end of the year. I might try this on audio. The next book is I'll Be Gone in the Dark by Michelle McNamara. This is a non-fiction book, and it's a book that I actually had to stop reading at night because it was scaring me so much. I was so gripped, so it was hard to do. But it's a sort of part memoir, part sort of investigation, and it's told from the point of view of this crime journalist, Michelle McNamara, as she becomes absorbed and obsessed with the crimes of the elusive, at the time not caught, Golden State Killer, who mostly targeted women and sometimes couples in 1970s and 80s California, flipping between the actual crime and Michelle's journey into crime journalism. It chronicles the author's obsession and determination to sort of find out who it is. She really went into the story believing that it could be solved, and how she felt very close to being on the cusp of him being caught. And sadly, before the book was released, Michelle McNamara passed away suddenly, so she wasn't able to see the impact that her book had. It brought the story more to the forefront of culture again, and it actually led to the Golden State Killer being caught and arrested and held responsible for his crimes. If there was one true crime book that I would recommend everyone read, this is the one. The next book is 1984 by George Orwell. Oh, Rachel, that's not a scary book. And to that I would say, have you looked around and seen the state of the world currently? It's getting closer to being real than it ever has been. This is a dystopian story set in a fictionalised totalitarian state where the government is watching every move of its citizens and using it to control them.
I have eyes everywhere, bitch.
We follow Winston Smith, a lonely, ordinary man who does as he's told. He goes to his job, he doesn't question authority or the regime until one day he falls in love and he starts to rebel. But he's being watched, whether it's by government spies or children who are being raised to question their own family and the neighbours, and, as we'd say in Liverpool, grass on them. People are told that their thoughts can be infiltrated, and the thought police know what they're thinking and how they shouldn't question anything. They should do as they're told. Don't question authority or you will be arrested and dealt with. This is a story of oppression, and it's a horror story if I ever did read one. It looks at how people in power can lie and deceive its own people, the world and its enemies, and how it can twist the narrative of truth and rewrite history with lies. Israel, and it's told through a political lens, and there's definitely similarities that we're seeing in today's society with media and the way they twist the truth of what's really happening to protect their allies. And it's just a book that I suggest everyone read, even more so because it's been sort of attempted to be banned so many times. It's been taken off curriculums in some states in America, so this is all the more reason you need to read it. The next book is I Who Have Never Unknown Men by Jaqueline Harpman, a book that became one of my all-time favourites after I read it. It's another dystopian story. Are we noticing a theme here? It could happen. It follows the story of 40 women and a young girl who are kept captive underground in a cage. They're guarded by these gods who they never speak to 24/7 until one day an alarm goes off and the guards flee, forgetting to lock the cage, and the women escape and they're able to go to the surface and see the reality of what the world's like outside.
Get that fire exit door. I'm off.
The story's told from the point of view of the youngest member, who's known nothing else other than being raised in captivity. This story explores humanity, female bonds and friendships, and the purpose of life and our place in the world. This is a book that when you finish it, you'll probably have more questions than answers.
Oh my god, what is that? Oh my god!
But it'll definitely seep into your soul and sort of make you feel. It's one of those books that made me feel really insignificant, but kind of in a good way when I read it. The next book is The Haunting on Hill House by Shirley Jackson. Another one from my TBR, and one that I added to this list because somebody recommended it to me when I asked what was the scariest book they ever read. Written in 1959, this is a gothic horror story set in this creepy haunted mansion where a group of people go to try and investigate the paranormal. Some of them in the group feel that they're connected with the paranormal, and others just feel a connection to the house. The home's sort of had a history of tragedy and trauma, where there's been lots of mysterious deaths, depression and mental health issues, which has seeped into the house, if you will. I will admit that I have watched the Netflix adaptation of this, which I did enjoy, but it makes me want to read the book to see how they differ. And when someone told me it was the scariest book they'd read, I was like, add to TBR. And the final book on the list is Monstrillo by Gerardo, Samano, Cordova. I hope I've pronounced that right. Another one from the TBR, and one that so many people that I admire and respect have read and loved. This tells the story of a mother who's grieving the death of her son. Out of love and desperation, she takes a piece of his lung tissue and tries to sort of bring it back to life. She nurtures it and sort of puts all her maternal love into it until it starts to grow and gain sort of sentience. It sounds weird, but stay with me. And through it, she starts to see glimmers of her son that she lost. This is said to be creepy, very sort of unsettling, but also heartwarming and kind of sad at the same time, as it looks at the way that grief impacts families, and it looks at the lengths of a mother's love and the lengths that she'll go to protect her children and family. It is said to blend elements of horror and magical realism, and I've seen, as I mentioned, so many bookish friends mention how much they loved it, so I will be reading it. It sounds both beautiful and haunting in equal measure. So those are some unsettling, weird, eerie, creepy books that you might want to pick up and check out at this time of year, whether it's the character, the plot. I hope there's something here that intrigues you enough to want to seek it out and read it. I'll be doing it alongside you. Let me know if you've read any of them and if you'd recommend them and what your thoughts were in the comments. As always, recommendations are welcome. If you did like this video, don't forget to like, comment and subscribe because it really helps the channel out. Thanks for watching. I appreciate you all. Take care and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.